Hey everybody, this is Mark. Just not usually my thing to make these videos, but there wasn't a lot out there, a lot that talked about the airbox spacer putting in the YXZ 1000, and this is the Alba Silent but Deadly kit. So what they do is they flash the ECU for you, so it'll run right with the kit, and make some other things run a little better. And that's plug and play, real easy. That rubber strap there actually comes unattached, and then you drop that in there, unplug those two plugs right there. That's an easy one to remedy. And the other thing is you can get cams with it. I didn't do that. I just got the headers, the Silent but Deadly exhaust tip, which goes in right here. Take this little cover off. There's three little screws there with Allen wrench heads, and then you take the exhaust tip out. The exhaust tip has 6 little bolts. This is the stock one, and it says right in the directions that those are really prone to breaking, and to use time and patience and work slow, or you'll break a bunch of them. So I broke one, and I actually had, they came so tough. They're 8mm. They actually kind of rounded the inside of my 8mm too. Two of they're cheapo sockets, but still, I was surprised that they would round these off a bit on both of my 8mm heads. So none of them came easy, and one of them broke. So anyway, that's a really not a great design for performance. It's straight blocked off here, so the exhaust has to go up and around and then back down, and there's hardly any space there between that back plate and the exhaust tip pipe where the exhaust comes out. This much smaller hole, and this is just the straight shot for comparison here, and there's just a screen there, so that'll be much better flow without a lot more noise. So again, you've got the ECU flashed, you've got the new headers, there's the old headers there, so that's going to open up a little bit. The exhaust tip's going to help, and the airbox spacer is supposed to be a pretty significant gain too. I watch a side-by-side blog guys, and in a 500 foot from a dead stop without the airbox spacer, and this was just their airbox spacer install, they hit 60 and 61 miles an hour, and with the airbox spacer in 500 feet they hit 62 mile an hour. So 1 mile an hour gain, 1 to 2 in a 500 feet from a dead stop on dirt. So not too bad actually. But the main reason for me making this little video is you got all these little screws here, or coarse thread bolts anyway. They're all 8mm, and there's 10 of them that go all the way around this thing, and this is not easy. Number one, getting this airbox spacer in is tough. It was tough to get the cover off without the airbox spacer. Working around the air horns and other stuff there. So this bolt right down there, I'm not going to be able to reach it with my hand, but you can see that bolt right about where my finger is there. So that's welded on, and then there's that's a nut that's welded on, and a bolt going through the other side. So Alba says to unscrew that and loosen it, but do not take it all the way off. You want to give this enough wiggle to be able to work this airbox cover back on after you put the spacer in. And that was really tough going on. and I was a little worried about the seals that come with it popping out, or so it was a really slow process just getting it to this point without putting these screws in. And then you've got these. So here's your gimme one. That's a really easy one to get to, and then there's 4 other that aren't bad. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then there's a few more. So when you're taking this thing off, there's actually one in the middle that you can't even see. It's all by feel, right in the middle of the airbox cover. And luckily you don't have to put that one back in. And it'll tell you in the directions why you gotta. So anyway, I won't get into it because they're all right in there in the directions. There's one right here that you got to get by feel, and there's another one up here that you can barely see on the corner. So this one's by feel. This one you can barely see, and then there is one over there and one over there. And even though these look like they're close to the top and not bad to get to, they are tough, and I actually had more luck getting to them from the bottom because of the tools I was using. Made it easier to do that. So here's where I had the success, and this is why I'm showing you the video, because I don't know how else people are going to do it, but I use this thing a lot. This is, just one of these grabbers, and so I would just grab onto the screw or the bolt like so. I would grab on to this and get those tough ones started. Just hand turn, hand turn, hand turn until this thing wouldn't turn anymore. And then I was using this flexible shaft that came with an old Black & Decker kit, drill bit kit that I picked up at Sam's Club ages ago. Like, we're talking decades ago probably. Anyway, but this has come in handy through the years and came in handy again today. So this helped me hand tighten it even further on those tough ones. And then here's my little wobble setup. So I've got a long wobble extension and a medium one and a baby one, and then my 8mm there. So I didn't have to use all of these extensions for every one of them, but I had to use all of them for probably 3 or 4 of them. And so it's a good idea to have some wobble extensions, because you can see the amount of flex that it gives you as this thing's kind of hanging. It lets you get to those spots, those tough spots, from a long distance away. So we're talking like coming up here and getting to these like so, so you can get on one. So I'm using both hands, of course, when I'm doing this, and I can get to them and start turning. And even that's a really slow process, because it's hard to keep with that sag in there and that loosey-goosiness of these wobble extensions. You got to try to keep that on there nice and tight too. Another one I had to go through here, and it's going to be hard to see with the camera because it's just not going to give you the light. But I had to go through this hole here, little vent hole, to get to it. So I used the wobble extensions with a 1/4 bit, 1/4 socket, and then onto my flexible shaft to get to that one. So we're talking like some ridiculousness to make this all work for me. And so the more that you've got at hand, the better off you're going to be when you go to tackle this project. So it might be a good idea to save you some curse words and go invest in some of that stuff. These wobble extenders, I mean, these are just Harbor Freight, Pittsburgh wobble extenders. You're not breaking the bank on it. I don't know where you're going to get this. Like I said, I got it Sam's Club probably 15-20 years ago. So but if you can find one of those, or maybe they're right on Amazon, I don't know, all by themselves. And then another thing that you'll want to get if you don't have just to be safe, because these screws here, it says right in the thing 18 inch-pounds, and I did not have a inch-pound 1/4 inch drive. The only thing I had for a torque wrench was a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch foot-pound torque wrench. So to get down to the precision inch-pounds, I bought this from Amazon, and at first I didn't think it worked because it doesn't give that like real satisfying click that my other torque wrench gives. But it does. There's like a little give in the head here. So at first I was kind of just trying to get up close to the top here, and I couldn't feel it. You really kind of got to be down here on it to get the positive sounding click and give in the torque wrench. But 18 pounds isn't much, so knowing me, I would end up stripping out the end of these in an air box, and then I'm gapped in an area where I shouldn't be sucking any air or dirt into that. I mean, that's just bad news, right? So so I did buy this from Amazon. Next day it was on my doorstep, and it definitely helped to get those torqued right to spec, instead of over tightening them, which I would have done because it doesn't take much to get these right to the spec that you need them at. So yeah, that's definitely a tough one that you're not going to have a lot of fun with, but once the job is done, you should be satisfied with the result from everything that I'm seeing and hearing on a naturally aspirated machine. You're looking at biggest bang for your buck. Got this kit for a really fair price from Alba. It's fair priced when it's not on sale. I got it on sale on Black Friday in November, but I had this machine put away for the winter, and I'm just getting her on there, and she's looking pretty good, so pretty happy with it. I guess I can try to answer any comments. I'm not usually used to doing this kind of thing, so if you comment in the bottom, I'll try to answer anything, but I'm not like a pro at this or anything. It's just things I put together, and I didn't see a lot out there on how to get to all these things and what kind of, it gives you tools to use, but I definitely needed way more than what they were saying. So there you have it. Good luck. Bye.